What up, everyone? How's it going? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm so glad it's Friday and it's the end of the week. Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim. You know, I was thinking about, sorry, let me just move this stuff around. You know, starting going back and looking at everything that TPUSA, Erika Kirk has said and done publicly since the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I've pulled together quite a few clips. We're going to jump around a lot today. I'm going to give you guys my opinion. And yeah, we're going to have some fun. We're going to start out with looking at something Erika Kirk said at one of her speaking engagements prior to the assassination. And then we're going to go, we're going to look at a couple different things. So let's go straight to this. And it's just just keeping everything in mind of how she used to speak about her role as a wife and as a mother and compare that to what she's doing and saying now. Okay. And I think it's just important for people to be consistent, especially like she was operating under what she had told Charlie and everyone that followed them of what a wife should do, of what a mother should do. And then now everything she's saying and doing is just completely in the opposite direction and contradicts everything she said and did prior to Charlie being assassinated. So, yeah.
A woman who puts obligation before desires, it's very hard to do. But remember, our God is a God of order. And when you put things in order, it's blessed.
So that's a short clip, but I just wanted to play that to start. And what would you guys say her top obligation is? Her children, being a mother, right? And do you think that's putting things in order by, especially, I mean, even when Charlie's alive, that's her top obligation and responsibility is being a mother and being a wife. And now Charlie's gone. Now her top obligation solely is to be a mother. Her obligation is not to TPUSA. Okay. Her obligation is not to the organization. Her number one obligation is still to be a good Christian, godly mother to those children. Even more so now because Charlie won't be able to have an impact and speak to those kids, to his children. Imagine all the insight, the guidance, the love that he would have transmuted, transported to them over the years of raising them. And now that influence is gone. And now Erika is working 300 days a year on the road. We have no clue where those children are. And she's completely, I think, forsaken that number one obligation. And without hesitation, without any prayer, deliberation, she took on, I think, what she always wanted from the beginning. Okay. Let's jump over to, where is it? Let me see. Here. Let me make sure I shared that tab. Yeah.
He needs to honor your purity. Save it for your husband. That's simple. Save it for your husband.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what you guys think if that's what she did. Okay. And we know that when she, yeah, you guys can see that. Cool. This is her with JT Massey before she knew Charlie, and at other speaking engagements, she publicly had said that she used to chase the boss babe bitch culture and like the worldly culture. But now, and when Charlie was still alive, she's like, now she's really building something that's meaningful, and meeting Charlie had like changed her life. I personally don't think she saved herself for marriage. Like, she was engaged. I'm just being realistic that, and just looking at how close and comfortable she is with this JT Massey guy, who's a minor league baseball player. Like, come on, you guys. Are we really supposed to think that she saved that for her marriage and Charlie? I just don't think so at all. And let's see.
Rico for a little bit. Really handsome.
You look gorgeous. Are you fixing my? I got a little bacon, babe. That's deep in there. Give them a cleavage. People want cleavage. Showcase it.
Sex sells, babe.
Sex sells. That's me.
That's against our religion.
It's not.
You see how she looked at him when she said that? But that's against our religion. She jokes about it. Sex sells, but that's against our religion, as she's like, and he's saying real deep in there. Like, it's so disgusting.
Within the confines of marriage.
They're not married. And she finds that funny. Look at that face. Horrible. All right, let's jump over to, let's see. We're going to go right to here. Okay. Let me make sure I shared that. Cool. Let me exit out some of those other screens real quick since we're done with them. Save that one, save that one, that one. That one can go away. All right. All right. And this is her just days after the assassination, right? And I don't know, like, one of the things that stood out to me, my wife said, not to read into it, but typically, like, the mourning period lasts longer than a day. And what up, Glenn, Coco? I see you're in the chat. Thank you for being here. I mean, she's not wearing black. She's wearing white. Usually white's for weddings, right? I mean, it's a minor thing, but it's still interesting that she chose to wear white. But let's hit play. Let's look at how she was speaking about everything from the beginning.
Jesus.
I mean, be mindful that, like, all of this is theatrical production, all of those, like, little statements, like whispering to herself. That's not normal. People don't do that. They don't do that when they're on camera. That was meant for you and me. She is projecting by saying things like that. She's trying to, make us feel a certain way, us that are Christians and have faith and a personal relationship with Christ. Jesus fill the room, is just an insane thing to say out loud while the camera's being, filming. That's something like, pray before you go on, say that before the cameras start rolling, but saying it as you're on camera, as you begin, that's not meant to be authentic. That is just, that's for us.
Good evening. My name is Erika Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. I first want to thank the local, state, and federal law enforcement who worked tirelessly to capture my husband's assassin so that he can be brought to justice. I want to thank the first responders who struggled heroically to save Charles's life, and the police who acted bravely to make sure that there were no other victims on that terrible afternoon.
There was never going to be any other victims. This was a political hit, an assassination on Charlie Kirk, and it was always meant just for him, and from my recollection, the security team didn't allow the EMS, the EMTs and the medics that were there render any aid. They told them to go, right? They didn't allow any actual first responders to render him any life-saving care there on UVU. They kept them, they didn't want them to come over and assess the damage to see what the wounds were. They didn't want those professionals to start rendering CPR. So I don't know what she's trying to say here, but no EMTs or medics actually got to him at UVU. The first medical staff that saw Charlie was at the hospital.
I want to thank the officers who have protected our Turning Point USA family these past 2 days. And I want to thank the Turning Point USA board, the COO, Justin Strife, and my husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy, for all their work in these terrible.
Pay attention. I mentioned it yesterday about like psyops and deliberate messaging, talking points, repetition of statements, things that they continue to repeat over and over and over again. And you'll see it, like a lot of the things that she said in the video that just came out this week, in the phone call that came out, like saying, speaking about the employees and the company as family and family members. That starts out right away. The amazing Mikey McCoy messaging starts out right away. Trying to emotionally manipulate people through their faith, through their religion, their beliefs in God. It starts right away. And it hasn't let up since. Like they're just this narrative and this deliberate, these talking points and this messaging is clearly, in my opinion, a psyop. It like fits all the points in the NCI checklist.
Days to be the stability for our family and for the wider Turning Point USA family as well. My heart is with every one of my husband's employees who lost a friend and a mentor. I want to thank the staffers of his amazing Charlie Kirk show, who helped him broadcast from the studio.
I mean, at least she's consistent. Like the awkwardness, the morbid statements, the completely unaware behavior that she engaged in while on that phone call, in all the speaking engagements, starts out right away. Laughing and smiling and giggling. This is just days after, guys. You heard on Barron's podcast, he had a woman that's a fan message him. His daughter, or her daughter, said after her husband was killed, you know, the typical and like a common response for a surviving spouse, that woman wore his shirt and didn't leave the room for months. My friend who passed away tragically, you know, through overdose, when his wife got up on stage and did their memorial, not once is she laughing and giggling, even when she's like thinking of him and remembering the amazing man he was and what he stood for. And that was like months after. Here she is days after. So right there, I mentioned it the other day. My father-in-law used to work in broadcasting. He was like a local news anchor, and him watching this, he was like, they told her to do that. That's like either on the teleprompter, and it's like, look at his chair, put your hand on his chair, and then say whatever the statement that's following. Right. And it totally is like so much of everything she's done from the beginning. Like you can feel it in your being. It's not authentic. It's not genuine. It's scripted. It's acted. It's practiced. Why would someone need to do that? Why would someone need to be reading off a prompter? Why? I mean, like if it's a long speech, yes. But I mean, at any point, speak from the heart. At any point, go off script and just tell us like what you want to tell us about your husband, about you, about TPUSA, but everything. It's so like choreographed and scripted and fake and inauthentic. I haven't seen one of her appearances from the beginning, from the casket scene, her cadence and how she's talking, the content of what she's saying, her body language, her facial expressions, it's all fake. It's not genuine. It's inauthentic. Why? Yeah, you would have to do that if your feelings inside don't match what you're saying. If what you're actually experiencing inside is not what you're trying to portray to everyone watching, you would have to act. You would have to follow a script. You would have to be fake. You'd have to fake it. And if she's not truly mourning him and in loss and grieving and sad and in pain, that would make sense why her words don't match her face, don't match her body language, why it doesn't match up. Why, for me, when I've watched everything she's done, I'm like, this is just off. This just isn't what I am expecting to see in a grieving widow. And if you can't see that, for those that are, forever Erika Kirkers, and like you can't ever look at her behavior and the things she said and analyze it. Like that's what we do as human nature. We look at behavior and we try to figure out, like, is this genuine? Is this authentic? It's part of our like threat recognition software, like our ability to determine whether we're being grifted or lied to. That's human nature for us to look at this and look at things, people in power, in control, and determine whether or not they're lying to us. And if they are, then why?
This chair. Every day he loved it. He loved what he did. I want to thank the millions of people who have shown their love for Charlie here in Phoenix, across America, and worldwide. I want to thank my husband's dear friend, Vice President Vance, and his phenomenal wife, Usha, for their love and support. You guys honored my husband so well, bringing.
How many times do you think the prompter said, now look up at heaven? Now look up when you say this for dramatic effect. Look up or pause, whisper yourself out loud so we can hear you though.
Him home. You both are tremendous.
You couldn't just say that. You had to like whisper that for dramatic effect.
I want to thank President Trump and his incredible family for the same. Mr. President, my husband loved you.
I mean, it's so weird. She's going through like one sentence, she's smiling in what she's saying, and the next she's crying, and then she's smiling, and it's like she's just like bouncing all over the place with these emotional, these facial expressions, and it's just like crazy. That's not like a normal pattern of which someone goes through when they're talking about their husband who just died days ago. Like her affect is off, 100% off.
And he knew that you loved him too. He did. Your friendship was amazing. You supported him so well, as did he for you.
There's the famous handkerchief. It's made its first appearance, guys. Don't worry, though. It's not going anywhere. It is going to make many appearances in the weeks and months to come.
2 days ago, my husband, Charlie, went to see the face of his Savior and his God. Charlie always said that when he was gone, he wanted to be remembered for his courage and for his faith. And one of the final conversations that he had on this earth, my husband witnessed for his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now and for all eternity, he will stand at his Savior's side, wearing the glorious crown of a martyr.
There's those eyes. I mean, even though, yeah, we could have a discussion on whether or not he's a martyr, but I mean, I don't know, man. Like that's just not something I think a wife says like just days after. These are like clearly major talking points that they're wanting to get in all of our heads and all of our hearts to get us emotionally charged and riled up, right?
Charlie loved life. He loved his life. He loved America. He loved nature, which helped him always bring him closer to God. He loved the Chicago Cubs. And my goodness, did he love the Oregon Ducks? Want me to say go Ducks, so I have to since they play on Saturday. So go Ducks. But most of all, Charlie loved his children. And he loved me.
Why I was watching this earlier with my wife. Why would she need to say that? Like of herself in this appearance. And he loved me. He loved me. Yeah, he married you. He has kids with you. Yeah, yes, he loves you. But why making it about her? He loved me. He loved me. So you guys need to love me. He loved me. You need to love me. He was the CEO and he loved me. You need to love me. I'm going to be the CEO. Like, why the emphasis on her having to say that to us all? Like, it's just a given. Obviously, he loved you, Erika.
With all of his heart. And I knew that. Every day I knew that. He made sure I knew that every day. Every day he would ask me, how can I serve you better? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? Every day. Every day. He was such a good man. He still is a good man. He was the perfect father. He was the perfect husband. Charlie always believed that God's design for marriage and the family was absolutely amazing, and it is. It is, and it was the greatest joy of his life. And over, he would tell all these young people to come and find their future spouse, become wives and husbands and parents. And the reason why is because he wanted you all to experience what he had and still has. He wanted everyone to bring heaven into the.
I mean, he doesn't still have it though. And she says that often about him, like talking in the present sense. Like, no, I mean, he really doesn't still have that. He's in heaven, right? For those that you believe, right? If you're Christian, you believe in heaven and hell. Okay. If anyone deserved to go to heaven, I would think Charlie did, right? And so if he's in heaven, then he's not here and he's not still your husband.
This earth through love and joy that comes from raising a family. It's beautiful. Charlie always said that if he ever ran for office, I know a lot of you asked if he ever was going to, but privately he told me if he ever did run for office that his top priority would be to revive the American family. That was his priority.
Could you imagine what that would do if Charlie was alive and would run for office and was elected to the presidency, and that his number one goal was to revive the Christian American family? I would assume, and I just personally believe, that nobody in power wants that. Nobody in the most elite, highest levels of government would want that at all. Like what that would do. The breakdown of the family is what's led to the current situation of our country. And the rebuilding of that would bring so much power back to the people. And I believe that would have been his number one goal.
One of Charlie's favorite Bible verses was Ephesians 5, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. My husband laid down his life for me, for our nation.
Yeah, I literally believe he did lay down his life for you. Not in the way you're saying it. I mean, you've completely taken over. And we know that he turned down BB and that 150 million, and he refused to take TPUSA to that next level that BB was talking about. And you take over 250 million, more pro-Zionist than ever before. Yeah, I believe that because he would stand on his morals and values, he had to be taken out and you had to be inserted in. Yeah.
For our children. He showed the ultimate and true covenantal love. I will never, ever have the words to describe the loss that I feel in my heart. I honestly have.
Oh, what was that you said in the video from the other day? I feel so blessed and honored. I mean, you found words. That was 5 days after the event. You feel so blessed and honored to be the CEO and to now be running Turning Point, making millions of dollars. Okay. So I saw another clip and I couldn't go back and find the timestamp. I was trying to get everything and go live. I didn't want to waste too much time before I have to go back to work. But she started in the entertainment industry at the age of 13, acting, modeling, working in production, directing. She has wanted the spotlight, to be on the other side of a camera since day one. And before she met Charlie, all those attempts to like really be seen on a massive scale were non-existent. We didn't even see the clips of her. Like, remember the American flag dress with her gun in that whole movie? None of that came out. The whole dating shows that she was on, none of that came out. I mean, the closest she came to be like recognized and seen on the other side of the camera was Miss Arizona. But all the other stuff that she tried to do, the model, like no one really knew Erika Kirk. Then she married Charlie. Then she started doing speaking engagements with Charlie that she never would have done if she hadn't married Charlie. Marrying Charlie was the biggest step up for her career ever. It was a political, professional decision, in my opinion, for her to marry him. And what it did for her career was life-changing. And then taking him out, and now her stepping into this role, it was like next level. You know, step one, now step two. She likes being on camera. She likes being watched. She wants us to watch her.
I have no idea what any of this means. I know that God does, but I don't. But Charlie, baby, I know you do too. I know you do. So does our Lord. And our world is filled with evil. But our God.
Yeah, and some of the most evil people are the ones working with you. And you included. Rob McCoy, Mikey McCoy, Andrew Colvett, Tyler Boyer, Erika Kirk. Some of the most evil individuals I've seen are those in your circle.
You guys, our God is so good. He's so incredibly good. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Already I have seen the worldwide outpouring of love for my husband. I've heard the testimonies from people my husband inspired to get married, to start families, to seek out a relationship with God. It's the most important one of all.
Here, we're going to jump over just to break this up. I can't watch her do this the whole entire time, but let's jump over here. This is another just in the days after.
Thanks. It's surreal to actually be sitting because last time I was standing, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so she's referencing that video we just watched. She was standing and she was in there by herself. So this came after. And then we have Mike, the amazing, the miraculous, the general, Mikey McCoy, bottom left. Blake Neck Speed, we got the bottom right, Blake Neff. And then we got Mr. PR himself. Look at him. Look at Erika right there. That's a trip. Yeah, this guy, instead of being with his wife when he flew out to UVU, and his wife was with him on the plane, instead of going to his wife, right, he runs off, and Erika waited for him for an hour for his plane to arrive instead of going straight to the hospital. And he runs over to Erika and breaks down in her arms. That's just weird.
That's it. It's a little more emotional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you are rightly at the head of the table, and we're just so honored.
No, she's not rightly at the head of the table. Like, I think the majority of people know that this was a strategic move to get us to accept her. And I really do believe that as much as they want to spread that talking point that Charlie made TPUSA a vision-led organization, I don't think he did. I think it was impossible for him to actually do that. I think he did cast vision, but I think so many people were there for him and followed him. Charlie Kirk show, right? Everyone knew Charlie Kirk. Freedom at Charlie Kirk. People were there and tuned in because of him. And in order for any of us to still support TPUSA, they knew no other person, not Andrew Colvett, not Mikey McCoy, no one could fill those shoes. They knew they struggled with a big problem in who they selected to take over Turning Point after. That the only move those individuals on the board had, they felt, to keep this organization and his following together would be to put Erika Kirk in. It's his wife. She has his last name. She's the mother of his children. He chose to marry her. She must have some of the same qualities and beliefs and ideas that he had, right? It was a strategic move to keep us on board and tuning in and watching and following and accepting everything TPUSA was going to do now that he's gone.
To have you here. I know that you have been, to say that your life has been a whirlwind would be the understatement of the century. And to make time for Charlie's audience and to speak to them, I know that they can't wait to hear from you, and just to see you in this room probably means a lot to them. And you've been up against so much, and you've been doing an incredible job. The number of messages I've heard just complimenting you.
I know this is right away, but they haven't changed that studio at all. So they still have his name of the show, everything. It's all the same. And they try to say that Candace and Barron and Ian and Coach and all these other people are grifting and trying to capitalize and make money off of Charlie and his name and his legacy and what he stood for. No, literally the only people doing that are you guys.
Your dignity and your poise and your strength has been overwhelming. And yeah, we're just so glad you're here.
No, I'm grateful. I mean, I know we talked about this. We prayed on it. We really tried to discern properly how to go about the next few stages and steps of everything. And we've been very intentional in a way that always keeps Charlie first and his dreams.
No, you haven't. No, you didn't. No, you aren't. He said no to BB. He said no to 2.0. He said no to Next Level. And yeah, you waited a little bit before you actually started doing it. But I mean, you in the meeting and in the phone call started saying it right away. We just didn't get to see that until this past week. So on the outside, you made it look like you were trying to continue with everything he was doing. But remember, also in that phone call, she says, look, it's different now. All the emails, anything you were working on. Can you imagine? Okay, so if he changed his view on Israel, on so many things in the last weeks and months of his life, how many of his employees do you think he went to and said, hey, I want you to look into this. I want you to look into this. Go find me this. He sent people out with orders and directions to find him information, to look into this story. And in her phone call meeting, she says, it's all done. Stop. Not that it's not important. Anything that Charlie told you to do before he was dead, we're done. I'm here now. You're going to do what I say. So it's not that we're done. It's just that we're done. Anything he said to do and you were working on and the emails, done. Stop. No more. Me. Listen to me. He loved me. I'm in charge. We're going next level, 2.0.
Alive and his legacy going. And what's so beautiful is to see all of you step in and do that. And so part of the reason why I agreed to come on, because this is not going to be a forever thing of me being on hosting the show, was because I gave assurance to people that Turning Point USA is continuing, and it is. I mean, we are so blessed to have more work than we even could ever dream of. I mean, it's beautiful, and Turning Point Action, full steam ahead, so powerful.
Turning Point Action is their political arm. It's a 501c4, and Tyler Boyer is the one that's running it. Oh, I got an idea. Let's hop over here. Let's listen to Jimmy Dore. This just came out. Okay. Let's hear this.
And when she was in his office,
Let me back it up.
my friend, when she was in his office, said to him, what is it that you have? Why are you so against Candace Owens, the Israel cause, etc.? She's brave. She's bold. She'll ask Tyler Boyer right to his face, because she wants to know, what is the big deal about not supporting Israel? That's when he shut the door, pulled her in, and said, listen, I'm a Zionist. Candace Owens is a Black conservative who wants to be relevant in this movement, and she's doing whatever she can at all costs to stay relevant. So that to me says a lot. That is proof, and it's in the text that I sent you to, Stu, of where she confirmed, like, yes,
Let's see if I can see that. Oh man, it's hard to see it. I can't zoom in on mine right now. I can look back at that and zoom in and see exactly what those texts are saying.
he pulled me into his office and said that to me.
And he's talking about Tyler Boyer. And Tyler Boyer is the one that's running Turning Point Action, the one that Erika Kirk just said.
So that's been my suspicion all along, that Charlie had turned against the Zionist project, Israel, the greater Israel. He had turned against them, turned down their money, and he had lots of powerful Jewish donors who were Zionists and Christians who were Zionists. And once he turned against them, they needed desperately to get Turning Point USA back on the Zionist train. And that's exactly what this enabled, because Erika's 100% Zionist. Tyler Boyer, you just heard, is 100% Zionist. They're all those pastors, Mikey McCoy's dad, Rob McCoy, and they're all Zionists, 100%.
And liars.
And liars. They're 100% on that. They're liars and Zionists. And those are kind of redundant when you say that. But, and so now, and what do you have to say?
So this is Jimmy Dore. Make sure to head over to his show, like and subscribe. He does great stuff. And this is Stu Peters. I don't think he actually has a YouTube channel. I try to find it, and it, like, other people have a channel called SPS or Stu Peters Show or Network, but when you click on it, there's like no videos. So I I think he was banned, but he does a great job what he says right here. Let's listen.
I couldn't disagree with anything that you just said. Yes.
Yeah.
Exclamation point on all of that. There are hundreds of millions of dollars at play here. And when you have somebody like Erika Kirk, for example, who her entire life, she has tried to be famous and be in front of the camera. She starred in movies, by the way, on Fort Huachuca, where she played the role of an assassin on a rooftop with a rifle. She's been Miss USA Arizona. She has been in CIA training videos. I mean, this woman she was on national television dating and drinking, although be it she'll tell Barry Weiss that she doesn't drink, she doesn't believe in that, and she didn't date. Does she not realize that she was on national television? I mean, how could she thinks you're an idiot? She thinks that everybody is really stupid. And all of these people think that you're really stupid. But this goes a lot bigger. I think this was, yesterday I just asked myself, how high does the ladder go here? And I think it really does go all the way to the Oval Office and to the Trump administration and to Mar-a-Lago. I think that Trump personally, this goes to him. And this goes to the people that Trump brought to Charlie Kirk. These are all the same players. There are several of them. They control private equity. They control the central banks. They are the big donors. And people like Tyler Boyer and people like Mikey McCoy and Erika Kirk, the people who are after the money, the people who want to be in the club, they want to hobnob, they want to rub elbows with them, they want to be invited to their $10,000 a plate Mar-a-Lago fundraising dinners, which was a whole nother thing. They want to be involved with this. They want to have the fame and the notoriety and the power. They crave it. They have to have it. It's innately in them that they have to have this. And when they saw that being threatened, and they saw Charlie Kirk standing on his Christian values, standing on his convictions, look, let's just be frank here. Brass tacks. There is not a place that you can go on the internet since October 7th of 2023 and not find this conversation. You can go to Cooking Channel Instagram pages and you will find stuff about this control structure and this power apparatus from Israel and from the Zionist cause and from the Greater Israel cause. You can see that pressure everywhere. And you can see if you go to the comment sections on anybody's feed, on any platform.
And the other day, Candace did an episode with, I don't know his name. And at first I was like bummed because I really want her to start doing those, the deep dive into Erika Kirk's background, and just more. I just want to know more about what she knows. I'm going to share just this screen so you guys can see what's his name. His name is Bassem Youssef. This is what he looks like. I do recommend going and watching it. It's about Israel. It's about Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk. Yeah. So it ended up being very relevant and there's a lot of good information in there. So yeah. Let me make sure I shared that back. All right, let's get back to it. Stu.
Form across the entire internet, no matter the subject, you will find this as a talking point. There's no way that Charlie could have avoided this, especially when he's working in the most Zionist organization, that if he were going to be a man of character, conviction, values, principles, that when he learned of this, there was no way that he could avoid confronting it. And I really do believe, just by all of the circumstantial evidence and physical, all of the video evidence, all of the historical precedent, all of the previous relationships and associations, it's very evident to me, and I thoroughly believe this until somebody can prove otherwise, that Charlie Kirk really genuinely, authentically was having this real life kind of awakening in the same way that a lot of people have since October 7th. He was seeing this conversation.
And Erika Kirk would have you believe that's not true. Why? Why is everyone that had communicated with him prior to his death saying the same thing except for people that are pro-Zionist? Even, what's his name, Harrison, something for InfoWars, he received a tip and a text from Charlie that he was afraid Israel was going to kill him. He texted Andrew Colvett, Dan Flood. He said, they leave me no choice, man. Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied. They leave me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. But Erika Kirk would have you believe otherwise. Why? And supposedly she didn't know about those texts. Right. She's his wife. What? She knew everything, guys. He told her everything. Remember that? What do you know? When in one of the taping, in one of the things, her public speaking engagements and one of the shows, someone asked her, what did Charlie tell you? Like, what did Charlie, what was he saying before he died? Because that was also part of her trying to combat this whole, he was changing on Israel thing. He actually did have fears of his death. Oh, no. He told me everything. I know everything. And then on another time, she's like, yeah, there were no threats. There were no text messages. And then Candace released the receipts. Oh, whoa. No. I meant text messages. I didn't read those other like chat apps. I didn't know he had that. Bullshit. You're not going to go through every app. You're not going to pull up every single app in his phone and look at everything, every email. Come on. Dishonesty is something to be concerned about, even if it's something small, because they lie about something small, they lie about something big. She's lying about everything. Why? Guilt. You lie to hide guilt. You lie so that people don't know the truth, because the truth is that he did change on Israel. And why couldn't she just be honest about that? Because she is so pro-Israel.
Everywhere, and he looked into it. And you don't have to look far. But when you are insulated, and when you are Charlie Kirk, and you've reached out.
And I just want to make this clear in case some people are watching me that haven't watched me before. Look, my wife's Jewish. My ethnically, not religiously. She's Christian. And her family as well, Christian. But they have Jewish heritage. My father-in-law. And I know other people that are Jewish that they don't like Bibi. And so like you can hold the stance and the belief that the Likud party, Bibi Netanyahu, and those rich and powerful, corrupt people that, yeah, they happen to be Jewish, Jeffrey Epstein and others in the ilk, that they're corrupt and evil people. I'm not saying all Jews are. No. These specific ones that happen to be, and they're giving all of Jewish people a very bad name. They're doing that. And so you can be against the modern government of Israel that is, like in Charlie's own words, ethnically cleansing Gaza. Jared Kushner, the plans to destroy Gaza and rebuild Gaza started 2 years before October 7th. There's another clip I could pull up another time and show you guys. I forget the guy that's with him, but he starts saying, yeah, like we had plans. We had plans to make Gaza, it's beachfront property, guys. It's prime real estate. We had plans to do what we're doing 2 years ago before October 7th. Whoa. I thought all of this is in response to October 7th that you had no knowledge about. Charlie Kirk himself said, in a country the size of New Jersey, and you can fly in 20 minutes from one end to another. I mean, not in the whole end, but you know what I mean? He's like, it's a small country, and there's IDF soldiers everywhere in the West Bank, right on all the perimeters. How could this have gone on for hours? All of the people are armed, all the soldiers, they're everywhere. He had major concerns that Bibi and the people in the political structure of Israel knew. They either knew and let it happen, much like 9/11, or even they took part in planning it so that they would have a reason to go to war with Gaza and to bomb them, much like 9/11 and Afghanistan and Iraq. Right? And now he said it. He said it himself. Charlie said it himself. Bibi's going to ethnically cleanse Gaza. It's a genocide. There's no other way to say it, man. And they're doing it so they can flatten it all, rebuild it, and it can be the Palm Beach of the Middle East. and make millions and billions of dollars.
Level, and you have these handlers and you have multiple phones, and you're being dragged from this college campus to that meeting with the president, to this planning meeting with TP Action, and this one with TP Faith, and this one with Turning Point USA, and you are stretched thin, you don't go looking. People have to bring things to you. People have to make you aware of these things. Well, there was no way to avoid this one. For him, for anybody, there's no way to avoid this conversation, no matter what side of this issue you sit on.
I'm so sorry.
Whether you think I'm just crazy and a conspiracy theorist and I'm hate.
I pulled a Baron, right? He says, I'll play a clip and not let you guys see it. My bad. We're going to hop back anyway, but I mean, he goes on for a minute on this. Let's go back here. Let's hear more of their words. Let me make sure I shared it this time before I hit play. All right.
All of the other programs within Turning Point USA, everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone has their marching orders. And the show.
Using military lingo, framing things in good versus evil, right and wrong. This is a war. We're going to battle. Pick up your sword. Yeah, you don't build with a sword either. She's like, we're going to go build. Grab your sword. Who builds with a sword? He gave them marching orders. Okay, so if he was alive, or when he was alive, and you're saying he gave people marching orders, well, then what about your phone call that I bet you never thought would get out, where you said anything he told you before his death that he had you working on, even emails, whatever it was, you're done. We're done with that. You could just forget it. We're going a new direction. That poor lady that was fired. Sorry, man. The organization is going in a new direction. The direction Charlie was taking it is completely in contradiction to where we're going now. Pro-Israel. Fully. 100%. We're all in.
So when we talked about this, became very intimate for me because I was there from the beginning of all of it. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget 2020 when literally the world stood still. And Charlie and I would go hiking every morning. And we would just talk about what life, the crazy things going on. And we came home from one of our hikes that season. And my mom pulled him aside in the kitchen and she goes, honey, they had a very good relationship. My mom and Charlie were best friends. We joked around I know. We joked around that he was the favorite child. But she loved him, still loves him. And she said, you know what, honey? She said, God has blessed you with an amazing voice. And you will be the Rush Limbaugh of your generation. Mm-hmm. And 2 days later, you and him engaged in conversations about the show and about the podcast.
And I don't believe that was by accident. Knowing what we know about Erika's mother and how pro-Zionist and connected to the deep state, to the government she is, knowing how pro-Zionist and connected and all of the propaganda that Andrew's been spitting out, and he's working hand in hand with Erika for fake alibis and to discredit and character assassinate Mitch Snow and Candace Owens. I don't think it's by any mistake that this conversation happened in private with Charlie, Erika, and Erika's mom, and that the next day, Andrew went with that exactly. Yeah, I bet they were communicating the entire time. Hey, my mom just plugged this. This is what you need to do tomorrow. Because they were all on the same page. Everyone that's still around, they seem all to be united and on the same page about what their purpose and mission and direction is. It seems like Charlie was the only one standing in their way. No doubt they were communicating with one another.
Well, it was, hey, we're going to be doing about 5 more episodes a week now. So just tell the team and make sure that happens.
3 hours of this, 2 more hours of podcasting. Yeah. Like and he ran with that and the team ran with it. And to see the Charlie Kirk show grow from that moment until now has been so humbling and beautiful. And he loved every single day. he read every email.
Yeah.
I know you guys have said that so many times, but I can vouch for that because there were times where he would forward me some of the emails that he would get, and he wouldn't even say anything. He would just forward the email.
Mhm.
And to me, it was almost like an extended form of family.
There it is, guys. Direct messaging. Family. She wants everyone to believe and feel, whether we are the viewers that all supported Charlie, donated to TPUSA, or employees. Deliberate messaging, family, over and over, repetition, family, family, family.
Where you guys were the pulse point of, and the connection point of Turning Point USA, TP Action, the Charlie Kirk Show. It was a triple threat. And the audience was the master and main component of that, because Charlie and the Charlie Kirk Show is not just a show.
Yeah.
It has a movement attached to it. It has the youth movement attached to it. And so
shows that she is very much aware, and they all were aware of what Charlie was standing in the way of. This massive movement that could not be left to his control and in his hands and in his direction. With the direction he was going, I could only imagine some of the shows he had planned coming up, some of the stories he wanted to break, things he wanted to talk about, because I guarantee you, if he was alive when they pulled off Venezuela, or talks about taking Greenland, or going back to Iran and getting involved, or if he would have found out about the Show Faith by Works propaganda, the largest one in history, and please, everyone, it's online. Go look at the document, the FARA filings for Show Faith by Works. They're connected to Salem Media Group, the Clock Tower X LLC, largest propaganda campaign in history, geotagging, geolocating everyone, forced messaging to all of us, pro-Israel. When you go to church, Christian universities,
for Charlie, the audience was a barometer of what do we need to be focusing on? The audience is brilliant. How many times did a listener send in something and say, hey, this is going on. You need to dig deeper in this, or check this out. And Charlie's show became.
keep that in mind, guys. Okay, so if you guys had seen any of the TPUSA events after Charlie Kirk's assassination, and even just the ones that were like right before, a lot of his followers, young men and women, were asking about Israel, the USS Liberty, like the fact that Israel has nukes and denies it, the fact that AIPAC doesn't register with FARA, the fact that clearly Israel is infiltrated and controlling politics in the United States. So if what she's saying is correct, and I believe it is that he had his pulse on what the viewer in the marketplace of ideas, what we cared about, what we wanted to know. He was bringing up that Epstein was a Mossad agent and we needed to release the files. He cared about what we thought and what we wanted to know. And can you imagine when he continued to talk about Israel over and over again, that would have been the direction he was going? That's what we want to know about. We care about that. We want to know who's corrupt, who's bought and paid for, who's America first and who's not, who's Israel first and who's not. And those people going to these events, asking questions. We saw that when freaking Ben Shapiro got up on the stage and he just deliberately lied to that person asking about the USS Liberty. Go do a deep dive. It was Israel. It wasn't a mistake. Israel paid $6 million to the families of the survivors and another $6 million to something else. I forget whether it be to the Navy or whatever, but yeah, they accepted guilt. He lied to that kid that was asking about what happened there. We continue to want to know more about that. She knows that. Charlie cared about that. They're no longer doing that. They're no longer going to follow up on things we want to know about. Guaranteed they're not looking at the emails. And if they are, they're hitting delete. They no longer care about the marketplace of ideas and what's important to us. They're going in their own direction with their own talking points, spewing their own bullshit.
Came and still is, and I'm going to get there in a second, but Charlie's show became the North Star for freedom of speech, but in a way where when he spoke and whatever came across his desk or whatever he put on the air was right.
Yes.
It wasn't inflated. It wasn't awkwardly optimistic that had no leverage behind it. It was the gold
It
standard.
was grounded in the
Extremely
collective
grounded.
wisdom.
So what about the episode with him and Megyn Kelly before he died and talking about Israel and all the donors that were calling him and Tucker and Candace and Megyn an anti-Semite? So that means that statement, if everything fit the gold standard, everything that he said was authentic and true and genuine, what about that? What about him on the PBD podcast saying Bibi and Israel is going to ethnically cleanse Gaza? What about that? No, you want to forget about that. You want to gloss over that.
Of the audience.
But not only that, he had a team, still does, all of you, that was the sounding board of that. And collectively, each one of you are a piece of his brain. I know we've talked about this. Blake, economics, foreign policy. Andrew, pretty much a lot of stuff. Mikey, humor, Christianity,
Youth
sports,
socials,
youth social, pop culture was Daisy. Like everyone has a piece of his brain that still lives on.
Yeah.
And so what I'm getting at here is the Charlie Kirk show is not going anywhere. My husband's voice will live on. The show will go on. We will have rotating hosts, rotating casts, rotating people coming
We've got
on.
some great people next week. already lined up.
Unbelievable. We will have consistency. The members only group will continue to go on. All of his socials that God has blessed us with, the people who follow those socials.
Hey, I just want to give a shout out, and we're going to go until about 11:45, and I'll stop, and then I'll have to do another episode, and we can finish watching this and her other video, and I'll continue going back from September 10th, and we're going to watch everything and just analyze and look at everything they've said and done from day one to now. But this community that we belong to, the people that are on these lives, whether it be Barron's, whether it be Project Constitution, whether it be on Candace's, Ian Carroll's, Danks, Wolves in Finance, we are united, okay? We are a large community that all are thinking and feeling the same way. We care about America. We want truth to win out. People have already messaged me and want to help and do research. Please, the blacklinebrief@gmail.com, reach out. We need to work together on all of this. There is so much. They're all working. All the people in the powerful and the elite circles, they are all working together. The WEF, the World Economic Forum, Council on Foreign Relations, Bilderberg Group, they go to their meetings. They meet together in private and in public. They collaborate. They coordinate. They plan. They execute. We have to do somewhat of the same thing to expose these crooks. The people want to know if their president's a crook. Well, I'll tell you, I'm not a crook. Okay, bud. Yeah, I think Trump's a crook, man. Bill and Hillary are my friends. I think it's a tragedy that they're trying to release pictures of people that were friends with Epstein. Yeah, I bet you do, bud. I bet you and all your friends are on those photos, dude. You know that they continue to push the release of the actual, all the files back. Like, where are the rest of the files? Over like 80,000, 100,000 files still haven't been released. And that bullshit full release was barely anything. They redacted everything. They put in a bunch of nonsense in there so that like it's hard to go through and sift through all the BS. We need to work together on this. They will not divide us any longer.
Will go on. Nothing is changing. But I want to preface, we're not awkward. We're not like...
Nothing's changing, guys, but everything's changing. So at the same time she's saying this publicly, in that meeting, which she probably thought will always stay private, I don't think she ever thought that would get out. There's just no way she would have said and done the things in that first phone recording that's just the audio and then the video one. There's no way her and Stacy and Andrew and that Meredith or Merida girl thought that would get out to us. There's no way. Nothing's going to change, guys. That's what she's telling us. But in private, guys, anything Charlie had you working on, you're done. We're done. Stop the emails. Knock it off. Follow me. Follow me blindly. Straight to your death. Straight to your firing. Do what I say. Do as I say, not as I do. Follow me. I know what's best for you. You're my family. We love you. But you have to go. No explanation. But we'll give you the bonus. No justification.
Weird.
Cringe.
We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him.
You're not going to be cringe. Oh, like when you say something morbid and then you say, oh, I don't mean to be morbid, but my husband's dead. Yeah, that's cringe and morbid. And no, you're not humble. Flying in a G5, 50 grand one way. We're going to be good stewards of all the money we've raised. No, you're not. Everything you're saying are just words. You're not actually being humble. You're not being good stewards. You're not being cringe. You're not being morbid. You are being morbid. You are cringe. You're dishonest. You're going a totally opposite direction. You're not picking up where Charlie left off. You're not following what he wanted. Stop lying, Erika. There's time left, Erika. You know, yeah, God can do miraculous things. He could even save you. It's not too late. Repent and walk the other way. Coming back and join us on the side of humanity. You can do it. We'll be praying for you, Erika.
And that's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off.
Yeah. You?
That's not what's happening. What's happening is the team is keeping this alive because we have Charlie in each and every one of us. Yes. And it is going to be continually the North Star of the conservative movement, of the voice of the youth, of the voice of the base, and that will not end. And the members only will continue to grow, and that will be the tight-knit network of family members that supported and loved Charlie and the team. And that's what it is. It's a family and a team. And
how many times can she continue to say that? Deliberate messaging. That's one of the main points on whether or not we're in a psyop. And she hasn't veered away from that. We're a family. This is a family. Think about this as a family. Guys, I'm telling you, it's a family. We're a family. It's a family, family. I wonder if she wants us to feel like it's a family.
This is not going anywhere. It's just not. We need to be able to have people have a show where they can ask questions. Hey, I'm up against this. What would Charlie say? And we play a clip of what Charlie said a month ago, a year ago. We have decades worth of my husband's voice. We have unused material.
Yeah, that you can put into AI. Because we never seen those videos or heard that audio, we'll never know now. Anything you release after his death, to me, is bullshit AI generated. There will be no way we can know that anything these people release and say it's Charlie. Charlie said this. Look, it's Charlie. They have thousands and thousands of hours, they said, that they've stockpiled. And they say, oh, it was Charlie that wanted to do that. And I don't doubt that he wanted to create a lot of content, but I also believe you guys knew what was coming. You had to get as much on as you can to feed the algorithm so it could produce high quality bullshit fakes of what he says, what he did. Stinking Mikey McCoy, Rob McCoy went with him to Korea and Japan. Never before did Mikey McCoy go to something like that. Candace said, even Mikey said, I never took a camera with me anywhere. But God, there you go again, putting it on God. doubt it. You knew what you were doing. You had to go and film all that footage that they released in the days after the assassination of him walking with Erika to emotionally manipulate us. That was planned and staged. You all knew it, and you held his hand and you walked in front of the camera, Erika. And you held the camera, Mikey, and you were there, Rob, and you knew that you were going to take him out in just weeks, but you had to get it. You just had to get it.
Material from speeches that he's had that no one has heard yet. We have Sunday specials lined up to the brim because my husband was so intentional about making sure that there was enough content. Always.
He made sure we recorded everything.
Everything.
He would not do a speech unless we could get the video and the
100%. So we have speech.
Just a minute ago, they said we're not gonna tweet from his personal account or post from his personal account and say he said this and like do it on behalf of Charlie. But they have no dilemma with putting words and deeds and actions in his mouth and attributing them to him after he's gone, saying he said this, saying he wanted this. This is what he did. This is what he wanted. This is what he said. That is cringe and morbid and dishonest and unethical and evil. Let him speak for himself. Let his words speak for themselves. He doesn't need your help.
That no one's heard of. We have interviews that no one's heard of. We have stuff from Korea and Japan that no one's heard of.
Podcasts.
So, I mean, in the words of my husband, buckle up, because there is a lot of content to be had. And we have so many amazing things down the pipeline.
Why haven't they started releasing any of it, you guys? They have to watch it all. They have to go through and edit it and cut it and trim it and AI change it so that it'll say what they want it to say based on their new pro-Israel, pro-Zionist direction. They can't let Charlie be Charlie anymore. That's why they had to take him out. He posed such a significant threat alive, his words, his voice, his power and influence. They couldn't let it continue not a 1 second longer. They have to make sure they put up all these recordings and tapings of him into this software and change it to fit their new direction that she's taking them in. No longer the direction of Charlie, but the direction of Erika. Why haven't they released anything yet? Because it's not ready yet, guys. We're not done. We got to edit it. We got to change it.
That we are working on currently that will
unveil in due time.
I am so excited.
Yeah.
And so,
and by the way, those are things Charlie himself
that he wanted.
We were working on some big things, right up until the end, and
we'll never really know what Charlie wanted them to work on. The people that were there working on the things Charlie wanted he wanted them to work on are fired and gone. The work emails and work computers that they did that work on is gone. She told them directly, don't continue any work he had delegated to you. We're done with it. We'll never know the truth unless more people from inside TPUSA come out and bring the truth out from within this corrupt and evil organization.
We've talked about that a lot. Like a lot of the guiding vision that we're using right now to kind of steady the ship and figure out where we're going is the things Charlie himself
100%.
told us where we were going.
100%. And similar with Turning Point USA, Charlie had a plan.
I just looked over at the chat. I would love to do research. I would love to collab and work together. I said that earlier. If you didn't hear that when I joined, my channel's email is theblacklinebrief@gmail.com. Email me and we should all work together. Okay.
Moving past 2030 that he's shared with the team and has.
That's interesting. On a different time that she spoke, she said that he had plans past like 2025 and on, but here she deliberately said 2030. You guys, if anyone knows about what is it like Project for a New American Century or Project 2030, I think it's pretty telling that she used that date exactly. They do have plans for us for 2030. and we should all look into it. I can do a deeper dive on that another time, but I just wanted to point that out.
Implement it. So we're not going anywhere.
We have the blueprints.
We have the blueprints. We have our marching orders, and we are just remaining humble and grateful to God, and we're remaining just stewards to what God has blessed us with. And I know Charlie's going to continue to guide us, and the Lord will continue to guide us. And I just wanted to let everyone know that this is far beyond any of us sitting in these chairs. This is not.
Yeah, Agenda 2030. Yes, thank you. Sorry if I butcher this. Sipanon 9711. Yeah, thank you, Immortal BJJ. What up? Agenda 2030. Yep, 100%.
Nothing to do with us. It never will. The glory all to God on that front. And I just am excited. It's weird to say excited, but it's.
Yes, it is weird for you to sit there in his chair, in his studio, speaking into his mic days after he was publicly assassinated, for you to say you're excited about anything. It's freaking disgusting and weird, cringe and morbid that you're excited about anything right now. You guys know the 5 stages of grief? She went straight to acceptance. Skipped the 4 before. She just accepted it right away and accepted that Tyler Robinson did it. She accepted it so much that at the memorial, she forgave him. You can't forgive someone of something that they didn't do, Erika. Well, I mean, you can. It just means you're deliberately doing that so that you would want us all to accept that Tyler did it, which is clearly a freaking psyop.
Also very surreal to say it, because I know that God will use all of this in a way that will glorify him, further Charlie's legacy.
They want us to conflate TPUSA with the church. They want us to conflate Charlie Kirk with Jesus. And even though Charlie Kirk was a great guy and he did great things, there's only one savior. And it wasn't him. Look at that. I'm so glad when I pause it on like a good, look at that smile. Look, that, I mean, that we should, someone just freeze frame that, take a screenshot of that. That's great. She wants us to connect our faith with TPUSA, our religion, the Christian church. They deliberately, that happened when she came into the picture, right? He was libertarian, fiscal responsibility, okay, Tea Party economics. That's how TPUSA started. And it stayed that way until she came into the picture. And not that there's anything wrong with furthering Christian values and trying to bring Christianity back to the United States. That's an amazing thing. But I don't think they're doing it for the right reasons. And I think they're doing it to manipulate us and to control us and to galvanize us into action of something. And we'll find out what that action is, but they clearly want us to connect in our hearts and in our minds, TPUSA with the church. And all the people, and I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but the Calvary Chapel movement, clearly go listen to Candace Owens. Go look at what's going on with Greg Laurie and Rob McCoy, how they befriend PDF aisles, how they try to rehabilitate their perception, give them jobs in their church, allow them in their orphanage in Romania to do horrendous things to children. That movement, Jack Hibbs, Calvary Chapel, Greg Laurie, Rob McCoy, has deep ties to psychological warfare operations, the military, how it was formed, the hippie movement, which was part of COINTELPRO, like them brainwashing the American public and using this denomination to be pro-Israel and not really anymore. And I don't even know how long it had been that way, to brainwash us and spit us propaganda.
And Charlie's up in heaven just having.
He's rooting us on. I know that.
He's so rooting us on.
Yeah.
I
And
know.
I want to like ask you just a little bit about, because this is something we wrestled with.
No, he's not, you guys. And to put more words in his mouth and attribute actions to him beyond the grave, that he's in heaven with Jesus and they're rooting you on and they're working from heaven on the mission of TPUSA is insane. Hey, I'm going to have to kind of stop here. I'm going to start reading the chat. I'm going to note my 9:53 on this video is where we're going to stop there. And then let me look at this one. I need to write that down. And then I'm going to read some of the chats. I can't wait till we can do super chats and things like that. What did I say it was 9:53? And then this one is at 23:57. And we'll pick up, and we'll pick up where we left off on that. And I didn't start that one. All right, let me go here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to read some of the chat. If you guys want to put some comments and questions and anything in the chat, I can spend about 15 minutes on this, and then I have to sign off and go back to work. Let's see. Bid 7872. I'd take a blue-haired barista any day over this one. Furries are human beings, not animals. Okay. She can't act it out because she's never experienced how hard grief really is. Yeah. I've lost a lot of people from a very young age. I've experienced death on a variety of levels, very close friends, a lot of family members. And I know personally what grief looks like and feels like. And yeah, I mean, they really want to spit this talking point that everyone grieves differently to a point. Like, to a point, yes, that's true. But also, we're all human, and pain is pain, and grief is grief, and loss is loss, and sadness is sadness. And there is somewhat of a general way people actually grieve their loved ones. And it's not the way Erika has done it at all from day one. Let's see. Let me go back up. I don't want to miss anyone. Where did I start? Yeah, she's excited to be in charge and making money. Charlie and Erika were just operatives for TPUSA. Yeah, I mean, I'm yet to be convinced that Charlie was part of this whole thing. And you're okay if you believe that. That's totally fine. I don't need you to believe every single thing I believe, and vice versa. And I'm not going to hate on anyone that doesn't take up everything I believe. That's fine. I think he was manipulated. I think he was deceived. I don't hold him in the high regard that TPUSA wants to hold him in, and say that he was like Christ, that he was all knowing, and that there's no way Charlie could have ever, been deceived by those around him, that he was such good at discerning character, that there's no way he would have picked all these people that are around him, if they were deceiving him. And therefore that means that they're all good and that they're not doing what they're doing and they couldn't be deceiving us. I don't buy that. I think that it's possible. I mean, he does come across a little on the spectrum, Charlie, a little Asperger-ish. Okay. Very articulate, extremely an autodidact, attention to detail. And I think that in that regard, one thing that he lacked was the ability to pick up on social cues, the ability to discern if someone is being honest or deceiving him, the ability to know who he had around him. And I just don't think he did. I think that was one of his weaknesses. He's not a perfect and infallible human being. I mean, he is infallible. He's not perfect. So I think that was one of his weaknesses. He had strengths in almost every other area, but I think that was his big shortfall. His biggest shortcoming was that he did not know his wife and those that were in his organization. Let's see. If Charlie Kirk appears to you, put down the shrooms, pal. Okay. She has no idea how hard it is. Yeah, she is literally glowing. She sounds hig. I don't know what hig means. She is high on this. Yep. She's excited about being in charge and making money. Yeah, I agree. Charlie and Erika were just, yeah, okay, that's where I got left off. Hibbs and Farnsworth ancestry goes way back. Oh, that's interesting. Jack Hibbs is related to Farnsworth. That's interesting. Farnsworth is LDS. He's Mormon. And I'm pretty sure that blonde lady, I think Catherine or Karen, on Tyler Robinson's team, defense team, is actually related to Terrell Farnsworth. I need to do more in that regard, like researching that, but I've seen that and I've heard that reported on in multiple different places. But I don't know if, are you saying that Jack Hibbs and Farnsworth are related? I know that their individual ancestry goes way back. Are you saying it goes back together? Where is it? Okay. This is all so obscene. Yep. It's all fake and gay. Yep. Put the email in the chat. Put my email in the chat. All right. It's also on my homepage, but it's right here. The black line brief at gmail.com. Yep. Okay, I'm putting it in right now. All right. All CEOs do strategic planning, not in journals and diaries. That's a good point. Yeah, but I mean, like, his personal thoughts and feelings would have been in there. Yeah, if he kept a diary. Weird how she lies about things that are so easy to discover as lies. Yeah, like it's intentional. Yeah, I wonder that. Like the picture that she covered the face of her kids, even though there's just pictures a week prior, her kids are 1 and 3. They're toddlers and a baby. The 3-year-old's a toddler, and then the 1-year-old's a baby. And then the kids in the picture that she used as her alibi for her whereabouts on the morning of September 9th, which is not even the correct date, because Mitch Snow alleged he saw her and Cabot Phillips the night before on the 8th at the Candle and Suites at Fort Huachuca. But that's just another inconsistency. The children in that photo are 5 and 7 at least ish, right? I put two photos side by side and had Grok and ChatGPT analyze it, and it was like based on size and so many factors, they're not the same kid. And that if she's trying to say that these are the same children at the same point in time, she's lying, and the pictures don't support that. So yeah, I don't know, like, and that she wasn't in China. She's never lived in China, but then clearly it's easily fact checkable that she lived in China. Charlie said it. She didn't date anyone, and all that history comes out that she dated people. She doesn't drink, and then all the videos came out that she drank. Yeah, it's weird that she's saying so much that is so easily proved to be a lie. TP is doing not God's work. I agree with that. Who do you think should play Erika in the movie The Truman Show? That's a good point. I don't know, man. I'd have to think on that one. They also consult with psychics and astrologers. Who? TPUSA does? TP is merely a political outreach, not God's work. I agree with that, but I think they're trying to. At least TPUSA Faith is, and they're trying to make it a Christian movement. And they've infiltrated the Calvary Chapel movement 100%. Or, I mean, that's part of probably what the design. I mean, Calvary Chapel was designed to be a psyop and a government-run operation. Where are all the videos of Charlie she promised? Yeah, they're doctoring them. They're editing them. It's actually Luciferian terminology, turning point. That is. Oh, I'd have to look into how is that Luciferian terminology. I'd be interested. They are setting her up for failure so they can change out the CEO. I don't think so. But maybe. I don't think she's going anywhere at all. Let's see. Charlie is in on it. Yeah, the kids are fake, so he must have known. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Baron Coleman's episode comparing Jackie Kennedy to her, very good. Yeah, I cried listening to Baron tell Jackie's story. Yeah, totally. Like, put those two examples next to each other, and one you're like, that makes sense. And then you look at Erika, and you're like, just doesn't make sense at all. Yeah. Let's see. It was his opening statement last night. What was? Oh, yeah. About Jackie. Yeah, it was amazing. I agree. It's the Trump effect. Yeah, Charlie, he didn't know. He was poorly advised. BS, he knew. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, personally, like I said, I don't think he knew. I think he was deceived and poorly advised. But everyone's allowed to hold their own belief and opinion, okay? And we don't need to hate on anyone in the chat or here or anywhere for that matter. If they believe something, that's fine. We don't need to convince everyone of everything. And hopefully in time, the truth will win out and we'll know. I won't let go until I find out everything. I'll tell you that. One of the reasons I think Charlie was in on it because the marriage and kids are fake. So he knew more than we think. Yeah, I just don't think it was fake, man. But I mean, like I said, you're entitled to your opinion and your beliefs. Amber Heard should play Erika. That's a good, yes. Amber Heard should play Erika. 100%. Let's see. I got 3 minutes. Let me go down to the bottom. Let me get to the most recent chat. Sorry, because I had so many. Charlie is dead because he wasn't that good of an actor. I think he wasn't going to be manipulated and lie. Yeah, there's no way he acted that out perfectly like that. No, he didn't. Yeah, I mean, to each their own belief. I don't believe Charlie is with us at all. I don't think it was faked. I think we saw what we saw, but I don't think it was a 30-06. Look into John Bray in the exploding mic theory. Look up Accurate Energetic Systems, the plant in Tennessee. Go watch Baron Coleman and Ali Top Files on the electrocution theory, the mic that was plugged in. Go look at the stage for that day, the setup, and how different it was from every day prior. That's how I think he died. I think he died by both of those means. Oh, thanks, Matthew. You make so many important points of things. Wait, I hadn't noticed. Like the messaging. Yeah, family for X. Yeah. Oh, it's moving really fast. Remember, Candace was part of you cult for a long time. You mean your cult for a long time? I don't know. All right, let's see. Charlie must have been in a rough spot. Yeah, I think he was. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Charlie's alive. That's going back and forth. We can move on from that, you guys. It doesn't seem that we're going to change anyone's mind on that fact, whether he's alive or dead. And we're entitled to our own beliefs. But yeah, I personally believe he's not with us. Because that would mean Candace is in on it, like that Megan Tucker, that they know, like, yeah. And I just don't think that he was part of it and is still part of this whole elaborate thing that's happening with TPUSA and Erika at all. You think Erika and Charlie, oh, I'm not going to say that word out loud, but she gave birth. I don't know though. Yeah, I don't know about the kids. We've never seen their faces, but I mean, he said they were his kids. Like, yeah, because I don't believe that he was in on it. And I really think that he was deceived. I think it was all from the other people surrounding him. Yeah. So I think that they did. And I think that he did have kids. Yeah. I just don't think those are the kids that she showed in that second picture. Yeah. Cause he's on stage with them. He's taking photos with them. He's in videos with them. Those are his kids and he was married to Erika. I just think that it was a sham, on her end. And that it was strategic for her to marry him and have kids with him for legitimacy's purposes, and then to take him out and insert her in. All right, it's 11:45. I got to head back to work. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, MK Erika. Yeah, I like that. That's the last one that popped up in the thread. I agree with that. Yeah, maybe why she doesn't remember things, misremembers. Yeah. Yep. Thank you guys. Please tune in for the next episode of the Black Line Brief. And we will pick up where we left off. Okay. You guys have a great afternoon and I will see you guys later.